Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shelby. If you like a hodgepodge of book videos, candle videos, vlogs, and Bath & Body Works hauls, subscribe. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 6 books that I have recently read. I was in almost like a 2-year reading slump, like towards the end of 2020, and I guess like a year and a half. And then this year in like April, I got out of that slump, and I have been reading ever since. I'm starting to enter a slump, but I will talk about that with one of the books in this video. So yeah, here are 6 of the books that I have recently read. So first, I have my Goodreads up, just so I can kind of like read through some of that review and kind of refresh myself. Just so, like, you know, we all need a refresher sometimes. And some of these books, it's been like a couple months since I've read them. But first, we're gonna start with Where the Crawdads Sing. So this I gave a 4-star. I remember reading through this book very quickly because the movie was coming out, and I knew that I was going to want to watch the movie, and my mom had said that she really wanted to go see the movie as well because she said that she read it a while ago. And yeah, pretty much like from the beginning I was hooked. Kaya, I loved how she like just fended for herself, and her relationship with Jumpin and his wife was phenomenal. Towards the end of the book, it broke me. I also am trying not to do spoilers, which is going to be hard in a book review, but I liked the twists and some of the turns. I liked that different siblings re-entered her life. The court case was phenomenal. The ending, the twist with the ending, so good. I loved Tate, right? Tate ends up being a huge part of everything, and yeah, I just really, really liked this book. It was an easy read. It was a nice, like, I don't know, a break from, like, I've really been reading like romance. It was a break from that. Like, I just really enjoyed this book. I would thoroughly recommend. The movie, I liked it. My mom really liked it. I will say I cried a couple times, but I liked the book more than the movie. So there were a few vital scenes that I thought they should have went into more depth in the movie, and they just kind of either glazed over them or didn't have them. So that is Where the Crawdads Sing. Next, I have People We Meet on Vacation. I gave this book a 5-star. I loved this book. This book was on so many people's like must read for the summer, and I understand. I totally understand why that is now. Poppy and Alex are the 2 main characters in this book. And they were best friends. I believe this is the one where they were like best friends post-college or like during college, and they would do a trip every summer, I believe. And they like both had feelings for each other but didn't know they had feelings for each other. And then they had like one trip that like ruined them. It destroyed them, and yeah, it just talks about how like they reconnect. So it's like a friends to lovers, enemies to lovers vibe. It does have chapters that flip back and forth, which I have discovered is one of my favorite ways for these stories to be told. I have read quite a few of them recently. If you hear my dog howling, I am sorry. It is 7 o'clock, and yeah, this is about the time he starts howling and everything. So But yeah, I highly recommend this book. Again, easy read, enjoyable read. I liked it. Next, we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Again, another really, really enjoyable book. A 4-star for me. I have not heard like too much about this book, honestly, outside of it, and I followed the author on my Bookstagram, but towards the end, I believe it has the first chapter of the sequel. It's not really a sequel, but it's a companion novel, kind of. It's Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, which Astrid is Delilah Green's stepsister. I believe there's going to be a third one. Astrid Parker releases October, I believe, of this year. I think it just says in 2020. I pre-ordered it fall of 2022. Yeah. But yeah, I really, really liked this book. I loved Claire, which this is Claire, that's Delilah. I loved Claire and Delilah and their relationship, and Claire has a daughter, Ruby, who I believe is like early teens, kind of, and like they hit it off really well. So the premise of the story is Delilah is Astrid Parker's stepsister, and they hire Delilah to do the pictures. She essentially, like, after high school ran away to New York, I believe, and like completely cut off family because her mom and her dad were both dead, and so she was raised by her stepmom, and she just felt a lot of unfairness, and through this you also like realize some of her trauma, but she also like processes a lot of her trauma in this book, which I enjoyed watching, like, that perspective of things also. But Astrid hires Delilah to be her photographer, and Claire is one of Astrid's best friends. But yeah, they Claire and Delilah, you know, they kind of form a relationship. Astrid and Delilah, their sistership grows and forms, and I'm excited to read how like connected they become in Astrid's book. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Astrid is very much like I wish I had the picture of the front of the book, but it's basically like a stuck up, like, blonde type A personality, like, and very much the opposite of Delilah. But to see their like friendship form, not just because they are stepsisters, but to actually become friends, was really enjoyable to read. Yeah, I again enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star. Next, okay, I don't give all of these books 4 or 5 stars, but I just have really enjoyed the books I've been reading. But Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She has been like my favorite author recently. Yeah, I loved this book. 5-star. She wrote it as like a journalist perspective on the band Daisy Jones and the Six. It's like a journalist perspective, so you get like the perspective from all the different band members, which is really cool. You first get like a background from different like people's perspective of like Daisy and different people, and I just really like how it shows like how the band was formed, how the band ended up breaking up, kind of what became of Daisy and Billy, who is the male lead singer. So originally it's a band called the Six, and Billy is is it Billy? Yeah, Billy. I believe it's Billy. Yeah. Billy is the lead singer of the Six, and the producer signs on Daisy, and they kind of discover that like Daisy sounds best with the band, and like the band does better with her, because they went on tour together, and it was really good. There is a lot of drugs and alcohol references in here, so if you are struggling with that, I do not recommend this book for you. But if you don't struggle with those things, this book is great. There's a twist at the end that is very good. Yeah, I just really enjoy how like Taylor Jenkins writes, because like there's a story within the story. Like the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, there is a reason that that person is picked to be the author of Evelyn Hugo's book. And there's a story within the story of why the article is being written. And I just really, really like that. It's very enjoyable. Next I have How to Love Your Neighbor. This is by Sophie Sullivan. It is about Noah and Grace, I believe. Yeah. So also I found out after reading this that this is the second book in the companion novels, and there's also a third one. So I believe the third one's coming out though. I did order the first one, even though I gave this book a 2. I think I gave it a 2 solely for the purpose of it was such an easy, light read, and I didn't feel like it had a whole lot of substance to it. It wasn't like outstanding like this, and it was hard to read this and then have this be the follow-up. I think if I had read a different book prior to this, it would have gotten a much higher rating. There wasn't much drama. It was very obvious within the first chapter. I'm not gonna spoil anything by saying that Grace and Noah end up together. It's not surprising. Within the first chapter or 2 chapters, it's really obvious. Yeah, I like Grace and Noah. I like both of them. I think they're great characters. I think that their character development was fine. I liked the people within each of their communities coming together. And there's a relationship that started through that. And that'd be cool if there was another companion novel with that relationship. But I don't think there will be. But yeah, it says this is a slow burn romance. I don't think this is a slow burn at all. Like, at all. Like, I think it was pretty obvious from the beginning, and like, I did not think it was slow burn. But yeah, so I got a 2. And then my last book I'm going to talk about, which after reading this book, I did read reviews, and I don't know how this book has such high reviews, or like high of a rating with the reviews that I have seen it get. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I guess either you love this book or you hate it. I don't know if I can read another Sally Rooney book after this one. I gave it a 1. And it's really hard for me to give a book a 1 star because as you have seen, I give books higher ratings. A 2 star is like the lowest I've ever went, and this got a 1. It was just not enjoyable. Connell and Mary Ann grew up in the same town, but there's similarities in there. They want to remember, I think they end up going to like the same college or college close to each other. I don't really know. I read this whole book and feel like I learned nothing about any of the people that I read about, except that they're all insufferable. they're all awful people. The only one that I liked was, what is her name? Connell's mom. I don't remember her name. Yeah, my phone cut out. So I think I was saying that the only person I actually liked in this book was Connell's mom. I did end up kind of liking Marianne towards the end because you learn some of her trauma, but still not a huge fan of her. There's also no quotation marks, which bothers me. I really like quotation marks because I prefer, sometimes I skip like the details, which there's a lot of details in this, and just read like the monologue, and you can do that with this. And what else? Oh, like in the middle of a chapter, it would have a throwback. Pretty much every chapter to this, it would have like a throwback of like a certain amount of time before, but it would already be like a chapter that's like 9 months earlier, and it didn't read linear. Like, and I know I said like this book doesn't read linear either, but it is split up by chapter. Like, it's like this summer, 9 summers ago, 10 summers, like, but the summers are linear, like 9 summers, 8 summers, 7 summers, you know. This, no, it is free range, all over the place. I did not follow it well. Did not. I didn't enjoy it. Also, trigger warning. They should have a trigger warning at the very beginning of this book. And they might. I just didn't look. No. But they really should, because this book deals with a lot of dark stuff. It deals with drug abuse, eating disorders, assault, sexual assault, suicide, alcoholism, sibling abuse, parental abuse, depression. It deals with a lot of dark stuff. And if you're dealing with any of that, I would question before reading this. If you have dealt with any of that in the past, this might be a trigger. So if you are struggling with any of that, don't read this book. Please do not read this book. If you aren't and are interested in reading it, go ahead, but it is not good. I don't understand. Let me see how like the average rating on this book is. It's a 3.83. So it seems like people either give this like a 5 or a 1 or 2. And for me to give a book a 1 is saying a lot, because I obviously love giving books 4s and 5s. Like a 2 is generally the lowest that I give. But yeah, this book is just not it. I probably won't be reading another Sally Rooney book. But yeah. And I think people have said that like this book was written as like every person was supposed to be insufferable. And that's frustrating. But yeah, it was just not enjoyable. Yeah, that's it for this video. I will see you guys in my next one. I don't know when this is going up because I have pre-filmed quite a few videos already, but after this book, my next reading video will be books I read while I was in quarantine, which I was in quarantine mid-August, and I read I read 5 books. So when you're sleeping most of your days, 5 books is pretty good. But so my next video will be that, and then at some point I will have another video of like 6 books that I have read recently, because I feel like 6 books is a good amount to have in a video, especially because I can get rambly. Because anything longer than like 20 minutes of me talking about books, I don't think anyone's gonna listen to. because honestly, I'm not gonna watch anyone else's video that's longer than 20 minutes talking about books. So yeah, let me stop rambling, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.